For the better part of the last decade, there's been a rumor saying that Giancarlo Esposito officially met with Marvel for some role. Most people suspected it had something to do with Professor X. Now the actor confirms that he has in fact met with Marvel Studios and he wants to play Professor X. So this news comes at us directly from Giancarlo, who was at a Comic-Con in San Antonio, Texas, and he was responding to fan questions while up on stage. And one of the questions that was brought up was his involvement, or if there's been any talk between him and Marvel. And he said, well, as most people know, he has not worked with Marvel yet. But he says he's been in a room with them. He's talked with them. And he says, I'm going to do something that's a little bit different. I'm going to go and put it out there in the universe that I'd like to play Professor X. Now, I'm not even going to get into the toxic side of what's already been said, because I just want to break this down to Giancarlo is one of the best actors in recent memory. His stellar performance in Breaking Bad that truly made everybody realize just how talented he is and how overlooked he was has put him on another level. Him as Professor X would be one of the greatest gets Marvel Studios could ever get. And before you bring up the whole issue that people are going to bring up, and I put issue in quotation marks, I want you to remember that Professor X and Magneto are based off of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And this is a universe where we don't necessarily have to be just like the comics. We already had Professor X played by Patrick Stewart, and nobody's ever going to do a better job because he literally looks and feels like he was born to be Professor X. But at the same time, doing it differently and giving us an actor like Giancarlo who could show everybody that he's not just one of the greatest villains of all time, could also be one of the most inspiring, speech-giving heroes of all time, in my opinion, is perfect. I truly hope that this gets manifested into reality. If we can get fan castings, like let's all put our energy together to get John Krasinski finally as Mr. Fantastic, then we should be able to get this and have him blow everybody away and prove everybody wrong. Again, I know many people have said, well, it's not about his acting, it's about the other things. Look, at what point does it even matter anymore? We've gone so far out in terms of having to be comic book accurate in every single regard that now we look forward to changing things up because they're different and they put a different spin on it. I can already look at how the MCU would approach Professor X also having a different skin color. It would make his argument even more powerful. So just imagine how Magneto would come off then. This needs to happen.